we're going to move on to our last topic, and this is going to be a fun one. I saw this, and I went, hell, man, I hate Notre Dame, and I'm a Jim Harbaugh fan, love what he's doing at Michigan, but I will tell you what, there is nothing I'd want to see more than a Michigan-Notre Dame rivalry re-sparking in college football.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And guess what? I think so would Harbaugh, and so would Brian Kelly. Absolutely.
Those were the games. Like, even though, like I said, I wasn't a huge Michigan fan because I cheer for Illinois, and plus my cousins and my aunt would basically kill me because they side with the Spartans. But yeah, there is some of the biggest moments have been either, for me, it's either been Michigan, Notre Dame, Michigan, Ohio State, even USC, Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame, this is like one of those rivalries where it's like, give me more of it. Give me more. And when the news broke the few years ago when they took it away, I went, no, don't do this to me. I hope they can get it done. I hope Jim Harbaugh can do what needs to do, because let's be honest, he's going to be the big cog in this, getting the wheels turning to bring Notre Dame and Michigan back on the field together.
Oh, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. But I think that if they renew this rivalry, what that will do for college football will be very good. And maybe then that starts to move Notre Dame towards, okay, we gotta get into a conference.
Well, they're kind of in the ACC. They're kind of.
Well, yeah, kind of. We talked about that for how long now?
They've got like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. They want to be an independent, but they're playing ACC opponents. I think the Big Ten makes the most sense for them. They can get stuck in a division right with Michigan. They can also play Ohio State. That may not what the school wants and why it may not happen, but man, could you imagine Michigan, Notre Dame each and every year, and it's a fucking conference? Not just a conference game, but a divisional game.
I know.
Michigan, and the way they can schedule it is Michigan's got to play either Notre Dame, like they can either alternate. Okay, this year you play Notre Dame first, then Ohio State 10 the year, then you flip Ohio State and then Notre Dame. Michigan fans wouldn't know what to do. They'd either be really stressed for 2 weeks or they would be super excited for 2 weeks because they'd have a chance to beat their two most hated rivals to end the season.
Oh, I think it'd be fun. I think that if you bring back that rivalry, which it does sound like they're leaning towards doing that, I absolutely think that it's perfect. It's perfect. It's something absolutely fans would want to be watching. It's good for TV ratings. It's good for college football.
And the last time they did play was the 2014 season, so it hasn't been that long ago. But it was a big loss for Michigan. They lost 31-0. So Notre Dame Everett Golson
they skunked them.
Slapped them down. But I mean, I'm looking here. 2012, it was a 13-6 game, which was close. You had 35-31 in 2011. I'm trying to think who was even on that Notre Dame team. Was it the Brady Quinn years? No, he was before that. 28-24 in 2010. Oh, that was the Denard Robinson year when Michigan beat Notre Dame 35-31. That was when they had Thomas Rees. The Fighting Irish did. That was that Thomas Rees-led Notre Dame team. The year before was the 28-24 with, what's his first name? I'm thinking last name is Chris. But, yeah, there have just been some great moments between Michigan and Notre Dame. Why wouldn't you want to bring this back? And is there anything in your mind to where either of these two teams would be like, okay, I got a little bit of doubt? Are there any doubts with this series about bringing it back?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so at all. I don't see how you really see. For the most part, though, I think you're going to get good games now because you've got a good Michigan team. You've got a pretty good Notre Dame team.
It kind of forces Notre Dame to pick up their recruiting a little bit because of what Michigan's been able to do. And Jim Harbaugh, he's a beast.
Well, exactly, but I think that this really gives, you can definitely say, oh, Jim Harbaugh certainly didn't schedule a cupcake game outside of the conference, and that's what's good for him. Because if you schedule this game against Notre Dame outside the conference, and you win that game for as tough as it is, people are going, Jim Harbaugh, you got balls, man. You got balls.
Well, and not just that. I mean, if you're on Notre Dame's side, think of it this way. You go ahead, you play Michigan, you beat them, you're in the ranks of one of the top 25 teams where it's like, oh, shit, you beat Michigan? You beat the team that some people are saying, most of the people are not like myself. I honestly think that Michigan could make a national championship run this year. I believe I kind of predicted it last week. I'm kind of unsure about that. But if you go ahead and beat that team, most people think that Michigan's like, okay, they're going to do well this year. Next year's the national championship year. You go ahead and beat them their first year of national championship hopefuls. It kind of goes, whoa, this team is good.
Exactly, and I think that that's what people will continue to think as we go along, because right now Michigan isn't giving you any sign of giving up or letting up. I mean, Jim Harbaugh is just full steam ahead. And for Michigan fans, you've got to be very, very happy, and you've got to have a lot of hope.
I'm going to ask you this before we wrap up shop. Give me a percentage of what you think right now. What's the percentage that we see a Michigan-Notre Dame rivalry return to college football?
I'm saying 75.
That's a good percentage. That's a hefty percentage.
Yeah, I think it does.
And it took you no time at all. It wasn't like, let me think. You had that number like ready to go.
Well, I was thinking about it earlier today, and that's what I think. You know, I think it's very, very doable. I think it happens.
Well, you guys let us know down below what you guys think. Are we going to see a Michigan-Notre Dame rivalry back in college football? Also, let us know what you think about the Gus Malzahn and the Baylor topics that we talked about today. That's going to do it for us here for the Primetime Podcast. Make sure to go ahead and hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Ricky Widmer. Brandon is at young_swan19. You can go ahead and check out our Patreon page. I mean, hitting that like and subscribe button and that heart and that repost button is great. We love you guys for it. But for those of you who want to give a little bit extra support, check out the Patreon page for the low price of $1. You can go and get yourself our exclusive Patreon podcast. Brandon just recorded July's Patreon podcast with Mike Rankin and Sean Anderson. I almost called him Steve. Sean Anderson earlier today, and you guys were telling me it was a doozy today.
It was great. It was really a lot of fun. I'm not going to tell you a damn thing about it.
Oh, no.
Because
tease them. You guys just keep it a secret.
You know, be part of our Patreon page. You know, as we said in the video, we absolutely appreciate the support of being a subscriber to our channel. But if you want to show just a little bit more support, we appreciate it. Mm-hmm. You know, we absolutely appreciate we appreciate everything you guys do. You know, watching our videos, taking time to listen to our podcast weekly, daily. And, you know, if you want to show us just a little bit more support, you know, go ahead and check out that Patreon page. And in advance, thank you very much.
And that's patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. I want to thank you guys all for listening. Me and Brandon will be back next Monday for some more college football talks. Thank you guys for listening yet again. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Thank you for listening to this MVP podcast. Follow us on Twitter at MostValuablePod for more great podcasts.